If you only had 10 years left to live, would you still want to spend time cleaning the basement, sorting old papers, and scrubbing every corner of the house? Or would you choose to do something else? Something that truly makes life worth living? This question may seem distant, but it is very close, as it is exactly what a friend of mine, Maggie, went through at the age of 62. After a routine checkup, the doctor suddenly informed her that there was a strange tumor in her body, not yet known to be benign or malignant, but advised her to be mentally prepared. At that very moment, all the daily chores, from stacking more plastic containers, piling up stuff in the basement, to scrubbing every drawer, suddenly became meaningless. A clear and powerful question echoed in Maggie's mind. If I only had 10 years, how would I live? That evening, when she returned home, for the first time, Maggie saw her house as heavy. Expired spice jars, the old sofa that hurt her back every time she sat down, dusty boxes stacked in the basement. For so many years, she had been busy keeping, delaying, tidying every corner, but had never begun the truly important things, like visiting her best friend in California, picking up the paintbrush again, or writing a book of her own. Sitting at the dining table, Maggie opened her little notebook and wrote her first lines in years: fear, regret, and the desire to live. She wrote, "If I only have 10 years, I don't want to waste another day in this cluttered house. I want to live." From that day, Maggie started a small but powerful habit, writing down her thoughts each day. Just a few lines, but enough to reflect on herself, to know what she wanted. And from that simple habit, the journey of decluttering her house and her life began, before leading to Maggie's lesson for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you hate clutter. Your support is the inspiration for me to continue sharing more decluttering tips and meaningful stories. And now, I want to share with you the special journey of a friend named Maggie, to see how she changed her life after that thunderbolt in the doctor's office. Habit 1. Stop the inflow. For many years before the bad news, Maggie's life revolved around trivial things. She said if there was one simple thing she wished she had done earlier, it was stop the inflow. In the past, Maggie always thought her house felt cramped because she hadn't decluttered enough. But the truth was the opposite. Each month, she unintentionally brought more items home. A discounted shirt, an extra plastic container for convenience, a few things just in case. As a result, the basement grew tighter, the garage packed full, while her real dreams, writing a book, painting, visiting her best friend, were endlessly postponed. Maggie realized clutter not only took up space, but it also stole her dreams and precious time. After the thunderbolt in the clinic, she immediately applied this habit. Any item that wasn't truly necessary would not be allowed into the house. It sounded small, but this rule opened the door to change. Every time she refused to buy another cheap but useless item, Maggie felt as though she had regained a bit of freedom and precious time to dedicate to the things that mattered. And from there, she began to break free from the cycle of procrastination, step by step, moving toward a lighter life. Habit 2. Trash sweep. After the first days of change, Maggie realized she couldn't tackle everything at once. The house was still full, and every time she looked at the basement or garage, she felt overwhelmed. Then she learned a very simple method: trash sweep, quickly sweeping away the trash. This habit only required one trash bag and 10 minutes of walking around the house. Anything trash, old papers, expired spice jars, cracked plastic containers, was thrown out immediately, without hesitation. Maggie started right at the entryway, often cluttered with flyers and old packages. In just one evening, the trash bag was full, and she felt the space brighten up. Then she tried it in the living room. Yellowed newspapers, a few dried-out pens, even a candle nearly burned down. Those things had sat there for months, but within minutes they were gone. Maggie said the most surprising thing was how quickly the sense of relief arrived. She no longer had to struggle with whether to keep or toss, because these were simply trash, things that did not belong in a home striving for lightness. Each night, just one trash sweep made her feel as if she were wiping off an invisible layer of dust from her mind. The house felt less suffocating, her heart more at ease. And most importantly, Maggie gradually learned that she didn't need to do it all in one day. Starting little by little was enough to make change visible. Habit 3. Keep your eyes on the prize. One of the biggest challenges for Maggie when decluttering wasn't physical strength, but distraction. She often entered the kitchen intending to get rid of chipped porcelain bowls, but then got sidetracked by dirty dishes that needed washing, and time passed without crossing anything off her decluttering list. That's why Maggie trained a new habit. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stay focused on the goal. It meant that once she chose a spot, she would focus only on that task, not letting anything else interfere. She reminded herself, no dishwashing, no wiping the table, no rearranging, only decluttering. At first, this was harder than expected, because years of habit made her want to multitask. But after a few tries, Maggie discovered a small trick. Set a timer for 15 minutes and promise herself to do only one thing in that time. The result amazed her. Just 15 minutes of focus transformed a messy spice drawer into order or cleared her desk full of papers. She realized it didn't always take an entire day, just a short burst of focused effort on the right goal. Each time she held firm to this rule, Maggie felt she had defeated procrastination. And more importantly, she saw her house gradually changing, corner by corner. From then on, whenever she started decluttering, she reminded herself, keep your eyes on the prize and the results will come. Habit 4. Donate more. Maggie used to hold on to clothes, shoes, even handbags she hadn't used in years, just because she thought maybe one day she might need them. But after that thunderbolt at the clinic, she asked herself, do I need to keep everything while someone out there needs it right now? From then on, she practiced a new habit: donate more, give away more. She started with her wardrobe. Sweaters she hadn't worn in 3 winters, high heels no longer suitable for her 60-year-old feet, all neatly packed into a bag to bring to the local charity center. The first time she carried that bag, Maggie hesitated a little, but when she saw the volunteers smile and heard them say, "Someone will be so happy to receive this," her heart felt lighter. She realized she hadn't lost anything, but was creating joy for others. Month after month, Maggie prepared another bag to give away. Interestingly, the more she gave, the brighter her house became, and the freer her mind felt. The sense of regret gradually faded, replaced by happiness knowing her belongings had a chance to live on in another home. And most importantly, she understood. Life is short. What we need to keep is not stuff, but peace in the soul. The habit of donating more helped Maggie let go to walk lighter, both in her home and in her own heart. Habit 5. 80-20 Rule. The 80-20 Principle. One day, while standing in front of her wardrobe, Maggie realized she always repeated the same few familiar outfits, while dozens of other pieces had hung there for years, untouched. She laughed, then exclaimed, "It's true, 80% of the time I only wear 20% of my clothes." From then on, she decided to apply the 80-20 rule. Only keep what she truly used often and boldly let go of the rest. Maggie started with her wardrobe, then moved on to the kitchen. In her cupboards, she discovered she only used a few pots and 2 pans, while many others were gathering dust. With the 80-20 principle, every decision became much easier. She no longer agonized for hours over each item. She simply asked, "Have I used this in the past 6 months?" If the answer was no, it would be donated or thrown away. The results were surprising. Her closet was tidy, her kitchen airy, and every time she opened the cupboards, she felt relief instead of pressure. More importantly, she began to apply this rule to her whole life. 8% of her joy came from 20% of her activities. Instead of being busy with unimportant things, she spent more time with her grandchildren, writing and taking short weekend trips. Thanks to this, her life gradually became clearer. Keep the essence, let go of the excess. Habit 6. Be ruthless. Maggie shared that there was a grey blazer she had kept for many years. Each time she decluttered, she would pick it up, try it on, then hang it back, because she thought, maybe I'll need it someday. But the truth was, more than 2 years had passed without her wearing it once. At this moment, Maggie applied the habit, be ruthless, be decisive. She set a rule for herself. If she hesitated and asked, "Should I keep this?" then the default answer would be no. And so, that blazer went into the donation bag. At first, Maggie felt a small pang in her chest, but just a few minutes later, she felt relief spreading. She said that the decisive moment was like untying a knot inside her. She realized that holding on to maybe items was no different from tying herself to the past. From that day on, whenever she faced an item she was uncertain about, Maggie reminded herself, if it isn't a clear yes, it is a no. The Be Ruthless habit helped her become more decisive, not only with belongings, but also with life choices. Instead of wasting more time and energy, she chose to keep what truly mattered and let go of the rest. Habit 7. Create drop zones. Maggie discovered one of the reasons her house was always messy was that things had no resting place. Some ended up in the living room, others were left in the kitchen, and often she was too tired and just left them there, forgotten. To fix this, she adopted the habit of creating drop zones, set up temporary holding spots. In each space, she prepared a basket or small box so that any item out of place could be put there immediately. For example, in her bedroom, she placed a woven basket in the corner. When she saw a scarf she wasn't using, instead of tossing it on a chair, she placed it in the basket. In her small office, Maggie kept a clear plastic box and called it the clutter box, a box for items to review later. This method spared her from running around while tidying and prevented items from being scattered everywhere. At the end of the week, she simply opened the basket or box and sorted, donate, throw away, or return to the right spot. Maggie said this small habit reduced the pressure of making instant decisions while also preventing clutter from spreading throughout the house. Each basket and box acted like a transfer station, making the decluttering journey simpler and lighter. Habit 8. Set a timer. Maggie used to think decluttering required a whole morning, or at least a few hours. That thought made her procrastinate, since free time was rarely long enough. Until one day she tried something simple. Set a timer for 15 minutes. She turned on the clock, chose a small spot, the kitchen drawer, a bookshelf, or her desk, and committed to focus only for that period. Surprisingly, in just 15 minutes, she could fill a bag with old papers or completely reorganize the spice drawer. When the alarm rang, she stopped, looked at the results, and felt incredibly relieved. No more pressure to be perfect, no burden to finish everything. Maggi realized decluttering didn't need to be a marathon, only short, steady sprints. She even turned it into a game. How many items could she toss today in 15 minutes, or how many spots could she clear? Thanks to setting a timer, decluttering was no longer a daunting task, but a series of small, repeatable moments each day. And little by little, her home changed, as did her mind. Habit 9. Rehome box. Another problem Maggi often faced was that when she decluttered one area, she would pick up an item and then run around to put it back in its place, ending up distracted and leaving the job unfinished. To solve this, Maggi used the Rehome box habit, a box for items to return later. She placed a large box beside her, and anything belonging elsewhere went in there temporarily. For example, while decluttering the living room, if she found scissors from the kitchen, instead of running off to put them back, she dropped them into the Rehome box. Only after finishing the living room would she take the box around the house to return each item to its home. This saved her a lot of time and kept her focused on the main goal. No more stopping halfway. Every time she looked at the box, she could see tidiness forming step by step, as if her whole house was gradually regaining order. Maggi said the Rehome box was like a silent assistant, helping her stay focused and maintain a steady rhythm in decluttering. Habit 10. Make it fun. If in the past, Maggi saw decluttering as a burden, then after that thunderbolt in the clinic, she decided to make it a more pleasant experience. The final habit she adopted was make it fun, turn cleaning into joy. She created a playlist of her favorite songs, and whenever she started decluttering, she played the music loud and let herself move with the rhythm. Some days, she folded clothes while singing along, turning a quiet room into a lively space. She also invented small games, seeing how many items she could discard in 10 minutes, or taking before and after photos and rewarding herself with a cup of tea afterward. These little things made decluttering less dry, transforming it into a small ritual of self-care. Maggi realized that when her mindset changed, cleaning no longer felt like a chore, but a time to enjoy peace. And that was what helped her maintain the habit daily, gently but steadily. For Maggi, making it fun not only made her home cleaner, but also filled her heart with joy and energy. Looking back, Maggi said that day at the clinic was like a wake-up slap. She once feared she wouldn't have enough time to live fully, but instead of stealing her hope, that shock gave her a gift, the chance to start again. After many days of waiting, the final result came. Maggi's tumor was benign, requiring only removal and regular monitoring. The whole family breathed a sigh of relief, and Maggi shed tears of happiness, but she said that moment of fear would stay with her forever. It reminded her that time is more precious than all the things in the basement. Each small habit, from stop the inflow, trash sweep, keep your eyes on the prize, to make it fun, not only made her house neater, but also eased her soul. More importantly, Maggi realized life is not measured by how many times we scrub the basement or how many items we keep, but by the moments we truly live. If she had 10 years left, she wouldn't spend them on broken plastic containers, old papers, or maybe items. She would spend them on trips with friends, laughter with her grandchildren, quiet mornings reading on the porch, and peace in her mind. And she wanted to send you this message. Don't wait for a thunderbolt to start. Choose today to live lighter, to live truly, and to make room for what matters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if Maggie's story touched you. Your support is the inspiration for us to continue bringing more decluttering tips and meaningful journeys. And remember, one cleaned out drawer today can open up a whole decade of lighter living tomorrow. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos.